How many rounds you got on that 1911?
About 80,000.
All right, I gotta try this.
I think I can avoid hitting the camera.
Yeah.
Missed once. That'll do.
There you go.
That's it. It's not a Glock.
All right, it's my turn.
Okay. If you say so.
Very nice. Oh, you even loaded my mag for me?
You betcha.
You're too nice. All right. Oh, that's it.
It's not polite to outshoot somebody with their own gun.
I like this thing.
I do too.
This thing is awesome. Okay, a Kimber 1911 with over 80,000 rounds on it. It's cold out here. Let's head inside and we'll hear the full story.
Sounds good.
Well, guys, thank you for coming back, and thank you for letting me shoot your 80,000 round odometer Kimber 1911. That was fun.
That's my baby. I like that gun. I have shot that gun a lot.
Do you like the new industrial yard steel target setup?
I do. That was fun. That was fun. Yeah, I felt like back on the block in a bad neighborhood.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Very nice.
You know, get to go shoot.
I think we'll be done when we have, I don't know, 20, 30, 40 steel targets down there.
I'm looking forward to that.
Yeah.
Yeah, buddy. Yeah, the Glock might have an advantage over me there.
Yes.
Lots more bullets.
That's true. That's true. We'll have to compare side by side. I was reminded, though, shooting down there, how much I like the 1911 trigger.
It's crisp.
Straight back, you know, short trigger pull.
Yes.
I just like the way it works.
That and I really like the grip. I like the smaller grip. Those are two of my favorite things about the 1911.
Yeah, very cool.
Good trigger pull and a small grip.
Yeah. So let's talk backstory here, right?
Sure.
What was it that led up to you acquiring this specific Kimber?
Obviously, I'd learned about the 45 in the Marines and liked it a lot. They took it away and gave me a 9 for a while.
That's right, because up until 85, that was the official sidearm in
Yeah.
the Marines, was the 1911 and 45 ACP, right?
Yes, yeah,
Okay.
it was a good combo. So then I got hired as a cop, and I found out that the department that I was working for was issuing stainless steel Colt 1911 45s. That's what everybody got.
Okay.
And I was pretty excited about that, and mine actually turned out to be a pretty good one. It had been worked over by a good local gunsmith, and he'd massaged it a little. So it was a good gun, but it wasn't as good as I wanted.
Right.
And I kept getting kind of 1911 lust when I would look at new ones. And this company called Kimber came on the horizon and started shipping things out of their new plant in Yonkers, New York, 1997. And this was the first Kimber I ever saw. It was in the showcase there in the gun store, and I said, "Let me see that." And not too much longer, I said, "Let me buy that." So yeah, and it's been with me ever since through the rest of my career and on into retirement.
Very cool. And I mean, on the one hand, that's a little sad that you have to spend your own money for a duty weapon. But on the other hand, you kind of got what you wanted. Right?
It was so much better than the original Colt 1911s for duty purpose. It has all kinds of features and advantages. Shoots great. I really, really like it. I love the beaver tail grip safety, which makes it nice and comfortable. We would sometimes have really long, extended training, 400 or 500 rounds in a day, and doing that sort of thing without the beaver tail grip safety, you can get pretty beat up in here.
Yeah. Yeah. Interesting.
So.
So tell us about this specific 1911. What was available at the time, and how was this equipped when you got it?
Right, and what was really nice is that Kimber built in a whole bunch of the stuff that people had been buying their Colt, or the Springfield was available then too, the base model Springfield, and then taking it to a gunsmith and spending hundreds of more dollars to lower and flare the ejection port, putting bigger, nicer sights on it, maybe a different hammer, a beaver tail grip safety. And the Kimber just came with all that.
Yeah.
So that was that was a game changer, and they were building them on their CNC machinery. So all of a sudden you were getting a lot of consistency, a lot of quality, really nicely done pistol. I have kept it mostly the way Kimber built it over the years. I've changed the sights a couple of times when the tritium wore out.
Gotcha.
The first sights were just black. They didn't have any tritium on them. And then the second and third sets have tritium dots in them. And the third set's starting to get pretty dim. Yeah, it's been around a while. Had to replace the restake the plunger tube twice. Changed the grips 3 times because I wore them out. And then the recoil spring and the firing pin spring got changed out quite a bit.
Gotcha.
Other than that, 80,000 rounds in
Wow.
24 years, I think, 25 years.
And so that also followed you into defense training, right? After you had
did.
kind of moved on from the department?
It did, and at the department I was on patrol and SWAT, and I was firearms instructor and detective, and 17 years of firearms instructor, I used this, and that was a lot of rounds of ammo. And then when I retired, I started my own defensive firearms training school course, and I used this almost exclusively for that. I taught all the other stuff too, because I like revolvers and I like other kinds of guns, and people bring all kinds of stuff to these classes, but that was my gun.
Yeah, right. What you show people with.
Yeah, exactly. It's the one that I've mastered more than any other firearm.
Yeah. There's something about a 1911 that is, I mean, it's the genuine article, right?
It is.
All the way back to pre-World War II, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
It's been around, 1911, so it's pre-World War I.
Yeah, and a select few got to use it in World War I, from what I understand.
Right.
It became more standard in World War II. That's, to me, always an appeal, is when you have some history and some heritage, and when you can go back and experience something a specific way. My Mosin Nagant is kind of that for me. When you picture a Russian soldier in World War II and you think, wow, that was a primitive weapon, lots of recoil, but at the time it was kind of competitive. It wasn't semi-auto like the M1 or anything like that, but it's its own thing.
The Germans had their bolt-action Mauser then, so the Mosin Nagant was similar.
Yeah, it's really cool stuff, and still relevant today. I mean, people are still rocking the 1911 like crazy.
Oh yeah. Yeah, I love it, and there's a whole cult around the 1911 where people won't even look at anything else. I like my 1911 a lot, but I do shoot other things too.
Yeah. It's interesting that Kimber really was the trendsetter with the whole, hey, instead of people paying for the firearm and then paying for all of the upgrades, why don't we just build it in from the get-go? And my 1911, yes, I only have one 1911, is the Taurus PT 1911, which kind of like took Kimber's take on that and took it even a little bit further. I would argue the quality isn't as good, and the consistency probably isn't as good because it was at a lower price point, and I probably had more trouble with Taurus than any other handgun, personally, just in my own experience. I got some bugs worked out on mine. I love to shoot. I have a threaded barrel. It's subsonic. It's great with the Osprey 45 suppressor. But all that based on kind of what Kimber had as a concept. We're going to make it. We're going to make it quality. We're going to put all the stuff that you need on there, and some of the wants as well. I think it's a great formula.
I do too. And you get an accurate, reliable firearm. I know there's always problems. There's always somebody who buys one and it just doesn't work out for them for whatever reason. But mine has been really reliable. That's a lot of rounds. It's not as many rounds as some of the competition shooters, of course. But for a cop, it's a lot of rounds.
Yeah, definitely.
And went through that, and just routine maintenance, nothing special.
Now, 80,000 rounds on the factory barrel. Here's what I'm thinking we should do. I'm going to get out the Teslong bore scope.
Yep.
And you actually have a brand new barrel too, right?
I do.
So why don't we take a look at this barrel with 80,000 rounds on it, and we'll take a look at the brand new barrel, and we'll see how they differ.
Okay.
All right, I'm going to get it set up. So what we have here is the Teslong NTG 100P. P stands for pistol bore scope. I use this for pistol barrel inspection, and then when I'm chambering on the lathe, this short length is actually really nice. You mount it to a tool post to run it right in. I've got a Windows 10 laptop here. You can use the camera app, click on the reverse camera button, boom, this baby comes up. So let's take a look. So we've got the barrel here in the Kimber 1911 that has 80,000 rounds on it. There's your crown. And we've got some fouling, obviously. Yeah, I think that's, is that carbon, do you think? We got a little bit of
Probably.
Surface texture there. We've got a little bit of copper fouling. Look all the way into there's the chamber. There we go, and the end of the barrel. So this is a brand new Barstow barrel, 0 rounds?
Right.
Okay, let's see what that's gonna look like here. Whoa.
Just a wee bit of difference.
That shows you how good the image quality is on this bore scope. I mean, that's
impressive.
That's tack sharp. And wow, yeah, really, really nice match grade barrel here. It's funny how slow twist these babies are. They're really, really slow.
Yeah.
And you can see the throat there, the transition. And then, again, our chamber. Wow. That is quite the difference. What would be really interesting to do as a follow-up here is to put this pistol on the ransom rest with a few different loads with the 80,000 round barrel, and then to fit the Barstow. See what kind of accuracy difference there was, you know?
Sounds good. Let's give that a try.
All right, okay. So that is the bore scope. That tells you the difference between a brand new barrel and an 80,000 round barrel. Well, I noticed you actually have another Kimber here.
I do.
Tell us about that.
Well, I was thinking that someday this one might need to be retired. I mean, gosh, just shoots so terribly.
Yeah, right.
So at any rate, I was thinking about, I use that as a justification.
I know who you told that, right? Maybe someone that you live with?
Yeah, maybe my wife heard, gee, honey, the old Kimber is just, it could leave me high and dry when I need it most. So I found a very lightly used, much newer Kimber, kind of a fancier one. They call it an Eclipse for whatever reason. It's nice and shiny and pretty, and it shoots really good.
Nice.
So, yeah, a nice tight shooter.
Might be another one to throw on the ransom rest, right?
It would be. It'd be very interesting because some of the groups I've shot with this have been way better than I ought to be able to shoot.
Nice. Now, what's interesting about the 80,000 round Kimber is this is what I would call battle worn, right? Blued and battle worn, and a lot of people pay a lot of money to try and get that look, but this is really the genuine article.
Yeah, that's all just worn.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've lots of times carrying that, pulling it out for some extensive training, and it's been with me in some pretty bad situations. Thankfully, I never had to use it on anybody, but pulling it out, yes, absolutely.
Yeah. Well, it's kind of like a piece of you now, huh?
Oh yeah, yeah. That thing is that's my favorite gun.
That's awesome.
You know, for a handgun.
Yeah. That's absolutely outstanding. So with all of the ammo that you've put through it, you know, what is your typical load to run in this 1911?
Mostly I loaded 230 grain lead round nose bullets from various manufacturers. There's a fellow in town who casts them, and I'm able to get them from him, and they're pretty good. And run those over, usually try to keep the velocity in the 800, 850 feet per second, right about where normal 230 grain 45 load is, nice and slow.
Yeah,
and,
right, heavy and slow.
I've used Bullseye and 231 and Unique for most of my loads.
Very cool.
Unique, pretty dirty powder in there, but I've had some real good accuracy out of it.
Yeah, W231 is good. I've started using CFE pistol for a lot of my 1911 stuff. You know, it's funny, having shot a lot of 9 in the last week, I grabbed those 45 ACP rounds. They're like fat little chubby tubs.
They are. They look like a little fire plug trying to put in there. Just something. Yeah. I like them. Short, fat, makes big holes.
Yep. It's that in a 1911. I mean, it's classic.
Well, I like it.
Yeah. Our question for you, do you have a 1911 that you've put a lot of rounds on, that you've competed with, that you've carried, that you feel a special connection with? Drop a comment. We would love to hear about it. Tell us the history. Tell us what you're shooting with it. This is really, really fun. Thank you, Guy, for coming back and joining me again.
It's a good day anytime you get to shoot in your 1911.
Absolutely. That concludes this video, and that means it's time to wrap it up. I hope you liked this video. If you did, please give it a big thumbs up. Also, make your voice heard. If you have something to say, please drop a comment. Make sure you're subscribed with notifications because you're not going to want to miss the awesome content that is coming up. And finally, flex your reloading pride. You could look great in one of these t-shirts. We've got multiple designs at the Ultimate Reloader store. I'll see you later because I'm off to go shooting.